Hello, my starlings. Welcome to another episode of A Witch's Perspective, as in it is my perspective as a witch on, in this case, the topic of email. Do you have strong feelings about email? Like stabby, death of a thousand suns kind of loathing of email? In which case, you and I, probably a little bit simpatico. I cannot stand email because it is the relentless torture. It is piranha eating me alive day after day. It just keeps coming, and it's coming from everywhere, and it's coming into multiple boxes and from multiple parts of my life, and it's part of my livelihood, and I need to insert things in again, and it's all the things, and oh my god, how can you cannot handle and deal with the amount of email that comes in. It is too easy to send. You know, I have sent in the last, it was last year, we'll say it's something that kind of came through in the pandemic, and then last year I was living the high life, so to speak, when it came to playing with crafts, and I got into putting wax seals on actual letters going out to real people living in other places. And when you are crafting a card and handwriting things and honestly putting a seal onto an envelope, old-fashioned-ish style, right? I'm talking light the candle, put the wax into the metal bowl with the wooden handle, otherwise bad things would happen, and melting that wax so that you can then pour it and then press the seal into it. Good times. I really do enjoy doing it, but it is an investment of time and energy into sending that bit of information, and that is not email. Email is I had a fleeting thought of how we could change the world. Let's put that fleeting thought into an email and send it off to you because you can take care of that, right? Oh, I hate email. I hate it. It is whatever. It's like a hydra with the reproduction rate of atomic bunnies. Anyway, you got my feelings on it. And so you may guess that I have difficulty dealing with the email that comes in and not losing my what remains of mind. And so today I am going to talk with you about how to get out of email hell. That's right. I have a plan. It has worked. Now, sometimes I fall down on my plan and my process, in which case, I have to get back up on it. Such as the last 2 weeks, big project totally took my attention, and I did not keep up on handling my email. Well, it is okay because I have a process, and my process is going to mean that the 100 email that has ended up back in my email box for work, let's be very clear, in the last 2 weeks, and please understand, I have also been reading email and dealing with email in those 2 weeks. It's not like I have done nothing. I get emails, what's my average? I think it's about 60 or 70 emails a day is my average at work. It's a lot to get through, and some of those you know what? Hold on. I'll get to my process in just a sec, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk you through my process on how to deal with email, which, well, I say my process for email, it is, but it isn't, because my email process is essentially using Dana K. White's decluttering method on email. Just a few tweaks here and there to make it work, but it is workable. So you're like, what? Huh? Where did we? Who? If you're wondering who, if you have not already encountered her, Dana K. White is spelled like the color, an amazing author and YouTuber who talks about decluttering and helps people declutter their homes, and has established an actual declutter you. That would have been a great name for her, right? Declutter University. Anyway, she's training people in her method to go out and do the decluttering at people's homes, and it's pretty amazing. But her 5-step method, which is very, very Googleable, she talks about it all the time. It's very out there, so I do not feel like I am appropriating somebody else's work in this, but I do take it and I apply it to email. So, which she has not done, because I have looked. I desperation, people, desperation. Dear God's rescue me from email. So, there I was, with an inbox of I was up to 500 easy, and I was working on it, so I thought I was trying to get rid of things, but constantly utterly overwhelmed. So I take in her method and I start working on it. Now I'm going to start with her last step first as a concept, which she talks about the container concept. And we will arrive back at the container concept, but we need to start with the container concept. And her container concept, to the best of my ability to explain it, seriously, check her out, get these concepts, these fundamentals from her website. You will not be sorry, I do not think. The container concept is you have the space you have. And so when, for example, you're trying to put your books away in your home and you're decluttering and you get to your bookshelves and instead of going, well, I'll just buy more bookshelves, maybe books weren't the best idea, because I have made bookshelves and bought more bookshelves. I have been that book person. But we'll stick with it. You have the space you have. Or if I wanted to talk clothes, I have the closet space that I have. And yes, you could get more, storage, but storage doesn't solve the problem. Having less stuff will solve the problem. So you have the space that you have. That is your container. It is what it is. It could be, your bookshelf. It could be your clothes closet. It could be your drawer. It could be a bowl on a receiving bowl, so to speak, on an entry table into your home. That's where you put your keys and stuff, and it is what it is. It is the size that it is. It can take the stuff that it can take. It is the container that it is, and that you essentially declutter down to the size of the container. So if you go to put away like 20 books, well, you don't have room for the 20 books, so then there are ways to approach it, to go through it, to help you determine what you're keeping. Seriously, it's a great system, and unfortunately aspects of it do not transfer over to email, especially work email, because I can do some of them, like it would be evaluating, do I have multiple copies of this book? Oh, I do. Well, do I need 4 copies of The Lord of the Rings? I mean, okay, to be fair, I only had 2 copies of Lord of the Rings, but one was the original version that I had from, my brother gave me when I was a child, and then there was the pretty version I bought while I was working at a bookstore. I still didn't need 2 copies. I kept the one that my brother gave me. So I had already, this was before, in years past, when I was, because I've had to do a lot of decluttering before I discovered her method. So sad. So anyhow, you have the space that you have. You take out extra, like, oh, I've got 3 copies. I only need 1. There, I took 2 books out. I now have room for 2 more books. And it should be that ideally you're working towards a space where you can get things in and out easily. It's not like a jam-packed kind of space, right? It should be workable space. That's what we're aiming towards, is usable, workable, enjoyable to engage with, because it doesn't make you angry and crazy and waste your time because you can't fit things in because you're trying to shove it, and then before you know it, you've scraped your knuckles and you're bleeding all over your precious books. Container concept. And there's other ways to approach it, and ultimately, and sometimes it just comes down to, I have the space that I have. I love all these books. I love these books more. I love them more than I love those books. So I guess those are the books that are going to go. That's actually very workable when it comes to decluttering the stuff in your home. That part, not so workable when it comes to email. The first part, do I have multiples of this email? Can I ditch a bunch of them? Yes. Cool. Great. If you thread your emails anyway, you're already seeing it as one line, so that's not an issue for you. But which ones do I love more? That's not a question that I get to play with. It's like, no. Ideally, I'm dealing with everything. There are things that I need to deal with that are more important. There are things that are more urgent, but it's very hard to determine that from the mass. Again, 60 to 80 on average a day email. And I still have work to do. I have work that does not involve email that I have to do. So container concept with regards to email is where I wanted you to have that kind of basic level of understanding of it, so that I can make the point of your email inbox, my email inbox, is not in itself a container. There is no limit on my inbox. I mean, every once in a while, the system will go, hey, you're reaching your maximum quota of space that you can store things for. And then I just reach out to IT and go, but I need more space because I need the things and the emails and the information. So gimme, and they do. And so there's literally no limit on the amount of email. You know, you pay a few extra bucks and it's like buying an extra bookshelf, except the amount that it costs is minimal. And the amount that you get is ridiculous. Seriously, ridiculous. And so there's no limit. It's like receiving packages into your entryway of your home. Assuming you have an entryway in your home. I have something of an entryway. But imagine you had an entryway, you know, actual space. There's a closet on the side. There's a couple of doors leading off to other parts of the home, the apartment, whatever. And that packages get delivered and they go into that space. Because that's what an inbox is, right? It's the first point of arrival. Things are arriving, they're going there. Heck, you could use the front yard, you could use the hallway outside your front door, whatever the case may be. But we'll stick with entryway. Stuff is coming in. And you open some that you think is going to be the most interesting, or you throw away the things that you know you easily can maybe, but really it's just coming in. And then there's more coming in. And then there's more coming in. It is an infinite amount of things. And then it turns out that you can still technically walk through your entryway, no matter how much comes in. Don't mind me, I have very dry eyes from, I don't know, weather, allergies, driving. I'm not crying about email, I swear to God, I'm not crying about email. But there's no limit to how much can come in. I mean, you imagine the packages stacking up in your entryway, and viscerally you're going to hit a point at which you're like, hell no, this is wrong, I can't walk through it anymore. With email, there's no stop. It can just keep coming. It does reach that overwhelming feeling, but you are not constrained by actual limitations that go, literally nothing more can be put in here, which happens in a physical space. Not the case. So it's very easy to simply let it keep accumulating there and let it keep accumulating. And for some people that really works. If you are that person, hallelujah to you. This whole episode is not for you. This is my experience, my perspective. My perspective is a whole bunch of email in your inbox. It is weighing me down, because for me, I feel like if it's in my inbox, it's a to-do. I'm supposed to still do something with that, because if I could have just deleted it, I would have. If I could have gotten rid of it, I would have. Right? Except that when it gets overwhelming, I'm not even able to read through it and go, okay, can I just do things with these? Because I see it as this big, massive thing. I don't have a solid approach. So, taking Dana K. White's approach, acknowledging for me, my inbox is not an acceptable container. It is a through station. Nothing can stay here. I have decided that my front entryway needs to be empty as much of the time as possible, and when it isn't, to be made empty as soon as I possibly can. And if I do that, I will experience joy. I will experience a sense of relief and a sense of unweightedness. It is glorious for me. Well, like I said at some point earlier, I had over 500 emails. It's not like I'm simply going to go poof and they're gone. I mean, I could have, but that would probably result in things not getting done that needed to get done, and people not getting answers that they needed to have answers, and horrible things happening and people not getting paid. So, you know, gotta actually deal with it. Well, how to deal with it? Now, in her 5-step process, you start with the easy stuff. Well, actually, you start with the trash. You look for the trash. There's actually some really great psychology in what she does, and I love it. She says that she's been diagnosed by the internet with ADHD, which I would actually agree with you, rest of internet. I can totally see that in her. It's a very appealing, simple process, and how I find it works with email is not quite the same way, because she was, you go into a physical space and you look in the thing and you're looking for actual trash. And by the act of looking for the trash, this is the psychological component, instead of seeing just a sea of things and it's overwhelming, you're like, oh, no, you're focusing in, you're looking at individual items going trash, not trash, trash, not trash. So it forces you to look down into the actual minutia and not be caught in the overwhelming volume. Totally awesome. Love it. In email, you can try it. For me, it doesn't work so well. If I'm trying to scan through and go, what can I just delete? The unfortunate truth is that subject lines aren't telling me that. I mean, there are certain things, like they are really easy to throw out, like there are notifications from our finance and HR system going, hey, there's something in there to approve. I delete. Life is good is a quick and easy trash. But in a big long list of emails, I was in meetings for 3 hours and now I have 45 fresh emails. Great. Okay. I cannot simply read through that and go, yeah, I know exactly what, by looking at the subject lines, though, that I can delete. I can't even trust email threads and go, oh, I'll just keep the most recent one and it'll have everything, because sometimes people respond multiple times, different timelines, and so you can't be certain that the most recent email with that subject line actually contains all the information of the previous emails. So instead of going one by one with her process, so let me go through the next couple of steps so that you have an idea. She would start with the trash, and then next, when she calls them donations, like, duh, of course I'm going to donate that. Like, I don't need it. It's an easy decision. These first 3 steps are all easy decisions. You want to flow through them. So, donations, bye-bye, I don't need you. Email land, I mean, trash is easy. I get to delete you, my life is happy. Donations is, this is not for me, this is for somebody else. And it's a simple forwarding it on or a reply with the CC and tapping out, bye-bye. That's now your problem, not mine. Love those. Do not get enough of them. The third one is, she calls easy stuff. This is stuff that in your physical space, already has a home. It's not supposed to be. My dog's toys are not supposed to be in the bowl for keys in the entryway. They're supposed to be in the drawer for toys. So that's an easy one for me to just pick up, walk on over, put it away. And one of her prime things is take it there now. Do not accumulate in one thing and then carry a whole. I mean, if you can pick up, like if I could pick up 5 toys all at the same time on my way to the toy bin, wonderful. But I'm not going to make a bin for the toys that are happening in a different room and then take that bin and add it to the other bin. It's like, no, because then you've just made another pile. And then you've got additional piles that you then have to deal with. Deal with it right away. So that is a very fundamental principle that does apply to email. Deal with it right away in one of these fashions. So, donations, go off to somebody's help. Easy stuff. It has a home. So in email land, for me, that's things like, oh, I just got to file that. Easy peasy. I know where that goes. A new document has arrived related to this particular file thingy bob. So pull up file thingy bob, put email into the thing, delete original email, life is good and grand. I filed it away, I'm done. Or I also do put into the easy stuff with email, things that are going to take me less than like 2 minutes, or I'll go as high as 5 if I'm not under a lot of pressure. If I'm under a lot of pressure, it's like, sorry, only things that are under 2 minutes are going to get any real, like an actual response, because I can do it in under 2 minutes. It's worth it to get rid of it. So that becomes, oh, dear me, traffic cluster. It's worth it to deal with it in that 2 minutes and make it go bye-bye, so that I don't have to spend any more time with it. Because the problem with the accumulated email is that I go back in and I'm like, I don't have time to deal with this, and I leave the thing I didn't have time to deal with sitting in the email. Well, now I have, right now I'm up to basically 100 things I didn't have time to deal with or haven't read yet. And I have looked at some of those probably 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5, and each time I've gone, oh, I don't have time to deal with it. But I had to engage with it long enough to remember what it was and to determine that I didn't have time to engage with it. So I am repeatedly going back and spending time on evaluating something that I should have evaluated in the first place and dealt with, but we'll get there. But I'm spending that time redoing an action over and over again rather than dealing with the thing once and once only and putting it where it needs to go. So the easy stuff is I can simply toss it into its final resting place, get rid of it, or can do it in under 2 minutes to get it to its final resting state and then get rid of it. You notice there's a theme, get rid of it. Okay, her 4th step is what's left. You pick up the thing that's left and you're like, okay, if I was going to look for, if I was going to look for a toothbrush, where would I look for it? Or let's stick with the books. The toothbrush was a silly example. I don't know what to tell you. My brain is weird. So I have, for whatever reason, I had books sitting in my bowl for collecting keys, and I grab the book and go, well, actually, the book would be an easy thing, and it skips number 4, goes to number 5. So skip the book. I pick up a cool key ring. Has ended up in my key container, but it doesn't have any keys on it. It's just like a cool key ring that somebody gave me from Mazatlan. So the question becomes, this is number 4, you ask yourself 2 decluttering questions. The first one is, if I was looking for a pretty key ring that somebody gave me from Mazatlan, where would I look for it first? Follow your impulse, put it there, keeps it nice and simple, toss it in. Cool. Okay, and then, so from my case, I have a box that I call joiners and things that join one thing to another thing, and then I go to the box. Hey, there's room in the box. Great, goes in the box. As an example. And then her second question there is, if I needed a key ring from Mazatlan, would it even occur to me that I had one? And if the answer is no, then why are you keeping it? Because you're not even going to go looking for it should the day ever come that you actually need it. There's some interesting applications there to email that I haven't nuanced out because, quite frankly, I feel like I'm at the beginner stage of just trying to get through the fundamental pieces. But I'm still walking you through it. And then the 5th step is, when you take it there now, you apply the container concept. Actually, sorry, I was going to switch lanes, but I don't think I need to. You apply the container concept. So you take the book to the bookshelf and go, there's no room in the bookshelf. Okay, well, do I love the book in my hand more than another book that's on the shelf? Or is there anything any garbage that I could get rid of on the bookshelf so I can just make space? No? But etc. You go through, you figure it out, and either that book doesn't find a home and it goes into donations or the trash, or it, assuming that it's not donation worthy, or something else has gone in order to make room for it. Those are her steps. For email, little different, as I've already alluded to and given you a little bit of. So first off, I do not go and look for all the trash first and donations while I'm going through that. No, I go email by email, one at a time. I want to touch it once. And because I don't know for sure what kind of situation I'm looking at with the email until I open it, that touch it once means that it's that after I open it that I'll know, is it trash? Can I just delete it? Because that would be nice. Doesn't happen nearly often enough. Is it a donation? This is for somebody else. Please allow me to put it along. Is it an easy item? Can I do it in under 2 minutes? Can I simply file it away? Does it have a home already? Is this simple? And there are times when I can actually scan through. There are certain things, especially in the easy stuff, I'm like, those are standard things coming in. I know where they get filed. I could probably set an email rule to put them off to the side, but the fact is, if I did that, I would never actually deal with them, because I would never have to deal with the stuff that's right in front of me. And it is better for me if the items are properly filed in the place right off the top. So there is one of the glorious things is I am on top of my filing with this process, because it is faster to just file it than to push it off to the side, and it is worth it to spend the extra probably accumulated, or a word that puts all of the time together. When it's all added together, probably 10 minutes. Yay! Good times, happy times, love it. In order to have everything filed, it doesn't take as long as you think it would take. And then it comes down to the harder things, the things that are going to take longer. And what I have realized is that the other component of email, so the inbox, has to be flow through. It has to be temporary. This cannot be my to-do list, because then it's not a proactive, priority-driven task list. It is a panicky, oh my God, I don't want to forget task list, which just constantly threatens to overwhelm me and bring me horrible, bad feelings. So my step 4 is that item, I can't just delete it, I can't just forward it to somebody else, and I can't deal with it in under 2 minutes or 5 if I'm feeling generous. It now needs to go into my actual task system. Now I use TickTick, love TickTick. TickTick is grand. So it goes in there. And because I'm able to do it off a keyboard shortcut, you know what? I'm looking at the time and going, this is going to go way too long. So instead, I'm just going to say, that's how you deal with email. You first 3 steps will clear out from your to-do list entirely and get those things gone and keep things moving and away from you. Then there comes some more nuances, and there is some nuances that I do inside of the email inbox, and there's some that I do inside of my task system, which I use TickTick for. But essentially, I'm still going with the rule of I'm opening that email once, and it's one of the first 3, or it's going into that system so that I can go. And as I put it in, I'm marking it with certain tags and certain qualities to make it easier for me to pull back out those critical items. I will talk about that again more, but you see what I'm saying. I'm putting it into the thing so that I look, I deal, it's gone. I look, I deal, it's gone. I look, I deal, it's gone. And I will talk about some of that extra nuance inside of the email system, how I make sure that it's gone from the inbox but not gone from a usable place, because it's obviously going to be a reference for something, and not spending the time uploading it to various places. So I'm going to stop there. That is my introduction to how to get yourself out of email hell. It has worked for me. I went from 500 emails to 0 in, I think I managed it over 2.5 days when I was really quite focused. That was not the only thing I did in those 2.5 days, but it was a high number of it. And I have kept, for the most part, my inbox at 0 for months, aside from the last 2 weeks when I was working on a very major project and simply could not handle, I'm sorry, email, you're just going to have to wait. And now I have to deal with it again. And also because I'm building skill at handling this. This is new, and I'm figuring out how to make it work and practicing my process, and also discovering tweaks to it to go, this is better, that was not so good. Hopefully some of this is inspiring for you and useful for you. And if not, well then, you're still here? Really? I feel like Bueller at the end of the movie. What are you still doing here then? Take great and wondrous care of yourself. Bless me.